Morning, Milton. This is the boss of the Elder Law Report and Elder Talk Radio. Morning, Hayden.
Morning, Greg.
You have a good show today?
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about VA aid and attendance and veterans benefits, okay? All right, this is a nationwide topic right here. Thanks all of us. Please hang with us for the Elder Law Report. We'll start in a few minutes. Big old country.
And good morning to you. It is time now for the Elder Law Report. Here's Greg McIntyre from McIntyre Elder Law in Shelby, North Carolina. Good morning, Greg.
Morning, Milton. How are you doing today?
Oh, pretty good. I hope you are.
You know, I'm very grateful today.
Okay.
I'm very thankful today. I'm thankful for what area?
I would say somewhere around the Washington, D.C. area.
D.C.? Okay, that's a great guess. Great guess.
I would have guessed the South. I don't know
You would have guessed
sure.
the South.
Oh, yeah.
But you know, because I showed you before we came in here, didn't I?
That's right.
Because I was amazed. Because we bag on the left coast all the time, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
But it's Los Angeles County.
Really?
Los Angeles County has the highest population of veterans in the United States. Okay, so you know as much trash as we talk on the East Coast about the West Coast, Los Angeles County definitely beat us on number of veterans in one populated area. How about that? Talking about stats on veterans out there, there are 21.8 million veterans according to the Census Bureau, and 10% are women right now. And more you see the population of women veterans going up as they join the military more. 9.3 million of those are 65 or older. So you got 9.3 million veterans out there that and here's your qualifications for veteran aid and attendance. If you served 1 day of military service during a wartime event, that doesn't mean that you have to be, in the jungle in Vietnam, fighting it out. You could have been in Nebraska at an Air Force base during that time period, and you would be eligible for the benefit of aid and attendance, okay? Aid and attendance, if you qualify, there's 6 ADLs. Now, you automatically qualify if you're in a nursing home, but you have to meet several of the ADLs if you are at home or in assisted living to qualify. Those mean if you need help preparing meals, feeding yourself, ambulating, which is walking, getting around, generally, toileting, showering, bathing. If you need help with any of those 6 ADLs, okay, then, and you can't do all those things by yourself, you have a loved one who's a veteran who can't do those by yourself, then you could be eligible for VA aid and attendance. We handle estate planning, helping people qualify under the rules of VA aid and attendance. And then for the application, Milton, we submit the application in-house. We have a computer program that hooks directly into VA for free. We do that as a courtesy, okay? And if anybody is interested in seeing if they qualify, certainly they can call in today. They can call the radio station anytime to get my number, or they can call my office, 704-259-7040. Say, hey, I heard Greg on the radio, the Elder Law guy on the radio. Want to come in and talk about the possibility of myself or a family member qualifying for VA aid and attendance. And I will sit down for free with that person and consult with them for as long as it takes to go through that calculation, okay? So even surviving spouses of veterans can qualify for this benefit, okay? And that's such a different approach than we've talked about in the past, Bill. In the past, we've talked about how to shelter assets, or shelter's a bad word, I think. How to properly align and protect assets against a Medicaid spend down or a long-term care situation. Here, we're talking about adding income. So this is, instead of a glass half empty and a defensive approach, This is taking action. This is an offensive approach, and a glass half full approach. And it makes, I've seen it, I love it. It makes a family's eyes light up when they realize, hey, we don't have to spend everything down. We can actually get this benefit and pay for everything. And it's a benefit that's afforded, that's available to a veteran because of the hard work and military service they gave to this country.
Okay.
So, just a few stats on the rules of aid and attendance.
Craig, you
Yes.
mentioned a surviving spouse. What about a spouse that's married and women's benefits?
Women's benefits.
Women, they would have the same benefits, I assume.
So that's a great question, Hayden. And as I said, right now, 10% of all the veterans out there, of all those 21.8 million vets, are women. Okay, and more that percentage is going to do nothing but rise as more females go in the military. Not only would they be eligible as long as they serve at least one day during a wartime event, they have to have 90 days of consecutive service, women or men, and one of those days within a wartime event. Okay, and women would be eligible just the same as men, and a spouse of a veteran, and that's the reason I didn't say wife of a veteran, of a deceased veteran, because it could be the male that's qualified because his wife served. Okay, but if he's at home or she's at home and needs help, even if they're being cared for, it doesn't have to be a professional caregiver. It could be a husband or wife caring for that person. They would be qualified as long as that person's doctor, will put their professional opinion down and say, this person meets the qualifications, meets 2 out of 6 of those ADLs, okay? And that, if those things are present, then there's a great chance that you qualify, okay? Now there's an asset limit that VA has of how much you can own, but that's where our job really comes in. That's where we do a lot of heavy lifting. It's help properly align those assets so you can still meet the qualifications under the rules.
That's your lawsuit shop.
So, great question. Women qualify the same as men. Let me tell you the stats, or let me tell you the dollars, the dollar amounts that you qualify for. If 2 veterans are married, their maximum benefit could be $2,837 per month. That's a lot. If there's only one veteran out of the couple, their max benefit could be $2,120 per month. A single veteran max benefit is $1,788 per month. And a surviving spouse, or the widow, or man or woman, surviving spouse of a veteran who served during wartime at least one day with 90 days of consecutive service, it would be $1,149 per month for that spouse of a deceased veteran. Okay? So that's a great way to look at all the income and assets and say, we can add this income to the mix every month. Let's do that and help a spouse who's being taken care of. That could be the difference, Hayden, from going, if you're on the line especially, on a line I draw on paper, how about that? Of either going one way or a crossroads or a fork in the road of saying, we're going to do a Medicaid spin down and asset protection, or we're going to do asset protection and we're going to add income. Of looking at spending everything down, or saying, with this income added, this veteran can keep everything they worked hard for and also be taken care of at home. That's a huge deal. That's a huge benefit to the veterans out there. A lot of veterans do not know about this, okay? I've sat down with veterans or spouses of veterans and literally had to show them videos of, online about it and information just to, show them, hey, this is what it is, and you could qualify for that, just so they know. Milton, do you have anybody? Did you serve or do you have anybody that served in the military in your family?
No, actually, I did not, but yes.
I'm sure you did in your family. Almost everybody in this area does.
My brother and a couple uncles, yeah.
Well, I thank your family for their service to the country. Let's talk about a few of the dates that allow you to qualify for aid and attendance. And I'm going to start with World War II. You can go back, if you look on VA's website, to the Indian Wars, the Spanish-American War, Mexican Border Wars, World War I. So if you served in World War I or had a family member who did, through July 2nd of 1921, they could qualify for benefits. World War II, the dates are December 7th, 1941 through December 31st of 1946. Extended to July 25th, 1947, where there was continuous activity or active duty on or before December 31st, 1946. So there's a caveat there. Korean conflict between June 27th, 1950 through January 31st, 1955. Vietnam War, August 5th, 1964 through May 7th, 1975. Persian Gulf War, August 2nd, 1990. And it's ongoing, okay? And there's a couple of windows there, but the Persian Gulf War has kind of been ongoing through that window because we've had continuous activity in that area as an extension from that Persian Gulf War, okay? And I would qualify for aid attendance if one day I met those 2 out of 6 ADLs I needed help with things, with regular daily activity, because I served between 96 and 2000, which is in that window. And my second home was the Middle East when I was in the military, because I was over there with a couple of different aircraft carriers, the USS Nimitz and the USS Constellation. So I spent a lot of time hanging out in the Persian Gulf, both on the boat and on shore. Just wanted to put that information out there. I am excited to bring to you today also an interview. I'm fascinated with World War II. I mean, I really am. And a lot of people are. I think it was an amazing time period. And my grandfather, J.C. Horn, as I mentioned, was in World War II. And he never would talk about his World War II service. But when I was 11 years old, I was doing a school project. You're going to get to hear me at 11 years old. Okay. And, if I sound unpolished now, man, or you have any doubts that I'm from Cleveland County, how about that? Listen to me at 11 years old, okay? This is a tape of my grandfather talking briefly. It's about 7, 8 minutes long about his service in World War II. He was one of my buddies, and he was my best friend when I was growing up. Passed away when I was 13. And talking about him and his service as a machine gunner during World War II. I wanted to play this for you today.
December 7th, 1941, on a Sunday morning, I said this to the radio. They broke in and said, Bill Harvey and Don got a gun at me. How I know he really didn't know what Pearl Harbor was. So we finally told him what Pearl Harbor was. Like I say, I was only 15 years old. I didn't think I ever made me that way. For 4 years, I was 18 years old. February 24th, 1944. 2 months later, I was in service. Went to Fort Bragg, was inducted to 2nd Camp Plant in Florida. Took 16 weeks of basic training to Camp Hall, Wisconsin. And on Thanksgiving Day, 1944, I flew to the ship for Europe. We didn't know where we was going. They didn't tell us till we got halfway across.
Bill.
Your mic's wrong. Use your mic up. The Southern Resort. We don't drive Miami on the gas. We stayed there around Christmas. And left to our plants. Went on there. Put it down with the birds. So, we relieved another division. Luxembourg, and then all we went into the C3 line. And about March, they started
pause for a second. I wanted to pause it for a second. Could you imagine? That would be a great, anybody wanting to write what I think, who cares what I think, what would be an interesting book, or movie? Call it 4 Days in Paris. Could you imagine being on the front lines, fighting at the Siegfried line, going into Germany, pushing into Germany, fighting them, and then people are being granted leave right on the front lines, to get off the front lines of that intense fighting and go on vacation. And where you're going on vacation, you got to, what do you say, Paris, Brussels, somewhere else, so he chose 4 days in Paris. That'd be that could be your last vacation. That's a vacation of a lifetime right there.
I'm sure a lot of them treated it that way too.
I'm sure they blew it. I'm sure they had a good time.
Wildly so.
I have no doubt. And I'm sure.
And justified.
And I'm sure the French were extremely grateful that the Allies were over there fighting for them on the Siegfried line too, because they had just gotten taken over really twice in a short period of time. World War I and then World War II. Right there. Anyway, sorry. I just thought that was, when I listened to that, every time I listen to it, I'm just amazed. 4 days in Paris. I can tell you. You think about what they say, live your every day like it's your last day on Earth. Wouldn't that be true?
Oh, yes.
Wouldn't that be true if you were in the middle of World War II fighting and got to go to 4 days in Paris?
And with a Paris that's grateful and honoring them.
Oh, yeah. Right. I get
You're
you.
a hero.
I hear what you're saying now. Yeah. Would we be a hero today walking down the streets in Paris today, maybe? I don't know. One day, I'm going to go retrace his steps, though, from, I think it's Bournemouth, England, which is kind of southern England there, over to Le Havre, France, and then on into Germany. I'd like to do that. That'd be an interesting trip. Sorry, go ahead.
At that time, the world was winding down, and we still know what's going on about that time. And we had some beer. We started taking a lot of prisoners everywhere we went. We were belonging to more than nobody. We was only a lady in April. So, in the meantime, we started to put us on displaced persons camps. Garden, looking at them. So we did that for about a month. And I just believe they said we were going home. We were ready to go to the Pacific. So the meantime, we dropped the gun and down. And before we left to go to the Pacific, our orders changed. We got to go home. I had to drop the bomb, the third bomb. I was very, very happy. I got home, and I was just not bad for what I did. I knew no way not to get discharged.
Could you tell us about some of the things like during the war, what it was about things that were happening during the war and after the war, and some of the things?
I was a machine gunner, 30 caliber, long coup, same time they used in World War I.
Pause it there.
I German machine gun was very accurate.
So to come back in there, did you hear what kind of weapon he was using? 30 caliber machine gun. So I used to think it was I just assumed 50 caliber, but a 30 caliber machine gun. That was a World War I machine gun. That's what they were using. I think they came out with some newer machine guns for some of the groups, but my grandfather was using a World War I machine gun with a 3-man crew marching, cutting a line, I guess toward Berlin at that point in time. And I thought it was an interesting fact that we were still using those same machine guns designed and developed and made for the First World War. Anyway, So, but he says it was extremely accurate. It didn't fire as fast as the German machine guns, but it was extremely accurate, and you could drop one in their pockets. Okay? Anyway, go ahead.
Target back up a click, down a click, right a click, left click. You just about got something in your pocket. You have in the third shell with your tracer. That's when you can see it.
Stream of fire.
Yeah. That's when you can see what you hit. It just looked like a stream of fire without any third tracer blowing like that. And that's where we've done mostly is infantry. We have got them in us. We sit down and we give them covering fire. You know their heads. It's on ALS and all that. But 8 towns will give them covering fire like that. One person would carry the tripod, one the MO is strapped on his back. The bullet was strapped on. The ammo was on the 2 pieces of ammo was on it. And when you got the mount the gun, once it one down, mount that, we really fire and fire set. So one like that. Actually, machine guns, they only get a lot of early fire, not artillery fire. So I let them look like it really hit the man. Although, when you look down and shrapnel hits your helmet, you know. But if you ever look down, like, wipes you out. See, the glass goes up like that. Then you get it down, you don't get it right on your eye. You had A-rays coming in, you would have a screaming sound. And you got to read to tell exactly where it's going. So you got to sit there, start fading away. It's okay. It got loud and loud, start screaming in, you know it's coming along. You get the green, you hit the ground, it's like that. So I'm driving out the trees out and like that's all that.
Could you tell us about your foxholes and where you stayed during that time?
So we had a big gun in here at the time. Especially at night, we had one on the ground, that's the squad. Had one on the gun all the time, and the rest of them slept. After you spent two hours on the gun, you go work the next man. You spent 2 hours waiting on about 2 coming up, you turn it in.
So, could you tell us,
At night, when you would be on the gun, watching for something, seemed like about every tree in the distance would move. It might be somebody, it seemed like you'd be watching that tree, and it seemed like it moved. Near the end of the run, when the year was about over, it wasn't over. We have met hundreds of German troops lined up with a commanding officer in front, holding out to us. To get up. We just motioned them over the list. We didn't have time to do it. Most time the commander would be a general or something. They didn't want to be captured by the Russians.
what would the Russians have done to our boat?
They treated them with very, very mean. For the simple reason the Germans treated them that way. So they were very afraid of the Russians. They were used.
I'd be glad to do it. It should be me, is actually what I said. I was trying to be nice about it. Because I just enjoy dealing with them. I have a healthy respect for veterans. I am a veteran. My grandfather's a veteran. My dad's a veteran. And I'm just amazed at the sacrifice that all the men and women throughout the years have given. I don't think we realize. And all the petty politics we get caught, well, it's not all petty now. There's a lot of big political issues going around right now. But I mean, I think we forget and lose focus on how much we owe people like my grandfather and other veterans out there. I wonder if we can fight that war again today, or if we'd be blind.
We don't have enough
I mean,
troops.
Europe doesn't. I think the entire world forgets how different things would be right now. For what's a national issue, which is veterans aid and attendance benefits. Really, really appreciate it. Twitter me, @LawyerGreg, if you have any questions. I'll do a Periscope today around noon, okay, on veterans aid and attendance benefits as well. Be glad to answer your questions for veterans living worldwide, okay? Let me know.